Well, hello and welcome to our weekly look at Tiffin University Dragon football. Hi everybody, I'm Russ Snyder, voice of the Dragons. To my right, head football coach Brett Ekkens. Coach, how are we doing today, sir?
Doing well. So talk about the game coming up.
Well, for one, the big positive is our final road game of this first month. 4 road games. The Dragons have been Warriors, been all over the map. Been up to Michigan a couple times, now a couple road games in Ohio. And as Coach said, this weekend they'll be up at Lake Erie College. Lake Erie soccer team, men's will be here playing our men's soccer team earlier in the afternoon. And we'll be up there for a 4 o'clock kick this coming Saturday. Before we talk about Lake Erie, let's take a real quick look back at the game last week against the Ohio Dominican Panthers, a game in which the Dragons fell 20-14, and you really couldn't get your offense going a whole lot in that first half. But I'll just tell you what, that Ohio Dominican defense is pretty darn good.
Yeah, they did a great job preparing for us. They had a great plan. Hats off to Coach Cummings and the whole team over there at Ohio Dominican. They did a great job that day. We didn't play our best. I didn't prepare the team as well as we wanted to, and we didn't play our best that day. So unfortunately, coming away with a second loss of the season was the result of that. So
yeah, final score 20-14. Ronald Blackman found the end zone in the third quarter for a Dragon touchdown, and Joey Zalewski, your tight end. Nice to see him find the end zone there later on in the fourth quarter in a pass from Alex.
Yeah, the team responded, but it was too little, too late, and obviously we've got to score the football when we're in the red zone, and missed an opportunity there late in the third quarter, which really hurt us as we moved forward. But our team's resilient and fought like crazy to try to win it there in the fourth.
Well, the GMAC title is still in front of you. You go out and take care of your business. Might need a little help along the way, but you go out there and take care of your business. The dominoes will fall in place. Just like we said, roll it out there every Saturday and you'll see what happens. But just take care of your Dragon business. See where we're at the end of the day.
Yeah, we're not living in the past. We've got a game to prepare for this weekend, and there's certainly no we're not hanging our heads. We're ready to play, and we're going to be ready to roll on Saturday.
Well, you better be. You're going up against a Lake Erie team. Even though they're 0-3, they led Ferris State 3-0 in their game against them. 6-0. They led Finley 3-0 almost at the end of the first half. So they're a team that's capable of giving people fits. It just seemed like the Ferris and Finley got the better of maybe in the second half.
Yeah, Coach Price has done a great job with his team at Lake Erie College, and they're playing physical, they're playing hard, they're playing inspired football, and we're going to have to be at our best this weekend.
Well, the Lake Erie, as we said, the game would be up at Paynesville for the Storm play their home football games, and the quarterback's Brady Clark. He had a decent game against Finley last week. They have another guy who will come in and play a little bit, but talk about their quarterback Brady Clark and some of the challenges he makes your defense have to take a look at.
Yeah, he makes plays. He's got a couple of great receivers, and he's demonstrated that he can get the ball to him. Tim Kennedy, their offensive coordinator, does a great job with some of the formations and the play sets, and they have definitely some firepower that can stress the defense.
We mentioned their quarterback Brady Clark. We'll mention our quarterback Alex Johnson. He played last week against the Ohio Dominican Panthers. Went 22 of 38, 203, couple picks, couple touchdowns. Talk a little bit about Alex's progression. Let's say from when he got to campus to where he is now.
Yeah, he's grown immensely, and even coming away from a game where he didn't feel like he played his best, and certainly can play better. He's done a great job with his response to that. He was disappointed. Everyone was disappointed with the loss. Taking accountability, moving forward, and he was player of the week before. So right. We have all the confidence in the world that he's our guy, and he's played really well during his entirety of his body of work here, and he's had a great week of practice this week. There's no change, no change in his performance, no change in his ability to prepare, and we're excited to see him go out on Saturday, and the rest of the guys. We've had a really good week of practice this week, and it's all about not living in the past, but continuing to formulate a great process moving forward.
You mentioned Lake Erie's wide receivers, Ali Lee and Devin Morgan, two of their leading pass catchers. Talk a little bit about what makes them good players.
Yeah, they're fast, they're explosive, they catch the ball when it comes their way. They do a great job. They do a great job getting open, and again, it's their speed is something that shows up on film. You can see them taking the top off. You can see them running by defenders, and they definitely have our respect.
Dragon receivers last week. Joey Zalewski led the way for you with 4 catches, found the end zone one time. Ronald Blackman's been a very important part of the backfield in your passing game. It seems like more guys working their ways into the fold. More time on the field. Maybe a guy like Josiah Raber getting a little bit of extra catches. A lot of athletes on your wide receiver core. A lot of athletes getting playing time.
Yeah, we've got a team that's full of people that worked really hard to get in the roles that they're in, and it's a great feeling when we can spread the ball around like we've been able to do. Ronald's continued to play very well, and he takes every touch that he has. You hold your breath because it can go, and that certainly is something that's great about him. But the ability for us to disperse the ball over the field has been something that we've really hung our hat on, and guys like Josiah have stepped up in a big way. He's had a couple of great catches in the last few games, and that's the way we want it. We want there to be a diverse group that's getting the touches.
Well, in the running game for Lake Erie Storm, Julian Means-Fluellen is their lead back. Talk a little bit about what he does.
Yeah, he runs the ball hard. Again, they've got some schemes that stress the defenses that they play. But the thing that sticks out on film with him is that he's going to run the ball incredibly hard. He's going to put his pads down and he's going to press the open gap and he's going to hit the thing vertical. So we know that he is playing inspired football, and we've got to rise to the occasion like we're going to and be ready to play.
Running the ball for the Dragons, as we said, Ronald Blackman, again, 22 carries, 90 yards. Harvey Spanks-Dorn getting carry. We mentioned Nick Johnson last week. He got a couple carries again this past weekend.
Yeah, it's been good to be able to have a few guys in that room that we feel really comfortable with. And, Tyrese Banks-Dorn has continued to get more carries each week because he's continued to earn more carries each week. He did some great things with the ball in his hand on Saturday.
Yeah.
We were really excited about that, and he's continuing to play more confident every single week. So those are things that are really going to help our team down the stretch. But we feel that he's played very well, and you go into the running back room during their meetings, and those guys are incredibly tight. They all are rooting for each other when they're on the field, and we want there to be multiple backs that get carries, and that's a really helpful thing for an offense and for a team as you go down the stretch.
You almost have to these days. The way football is, everybody bigger, faster, stronger. A running back just takes a pound, and you got to have a few guys in there to keep some fresh legs in there.
Yeah, if you can keep people in when they're fresh, you're going to have a much better success rate, and we have the ability to do that. We feel we do.
Last weekend, defensively for the Lake Erie Storm, Christian Idoma, their linebacker, DeAndre Goodson, and Debonair Brown, a couple of defensive backs leading the way tackles-wise for that club. Talk a little bit about Lake Erie on the defensive side.
Yeah, they've got a scheme that you definitely got to stay prepped for, and the thing that sticks out with them is they can create some chaos. They did a great job against Findlay. They loaded the box up and presented some real challenges and did well when they were being blocked. Block destruction. Those things were great. They sprinkle in some blitzing at times, and they do a good job to present challenges to an offense.
Defensively for the Dragons last week, Jacob Toime back in the double digits with tackles, 10, and Isaiah Bunches-Foster out of the defensive backfield as well with 9. And, your guys up front making their plays as well, led by Chris Walton getting another sack, and then Zekwe Uzo got another sack in there as well. So talk a little bit about our defense as a whole, as their progression from, say, reporting to fall camp to where we're at now. Yeah,
they've continued to get better every single week, and Chris's motor is awesome. He's a guy that plays really hard every snap.
I bet people don't realize how much attention that young man gets nowadays after the year he had last year.
Yeah, and you will. He's going to have a specified protection package for him every week from every team that we see, and that's it's good for him to go out and be able to still compete at the level he is. But it also at times pulls away the emphasis from other guys, and they're going to shine too. So our D-line unit is incredibly competitive, and they work really well together. And we want to see them continue to put pressure on quarterbacks and to stop the run. Jacob's done a great job tackling this year for us. He's been a tackle machine. So yeah, I'm proud of the way that those guys are playing, and they need to keep playing really well.
You mentioned, you're talking about Chris. It's a product of production. You have a year like you had, and people are going to take notice and be like, well, we got to make sure we know where that guy's at each and every time we go out in the field. Joseph Weir's had another big game for you, averaged over 50 yards, punting the ball. That young man's really getting the job done for you, kicking the ball on special teams for you this year.
Yeah, we were out in warm-ups watching him punt, and I knew he was going to have a great day. He was launching the ball, and he's done a great job when his number's called. The first game, we didn't punt very often, and he was pretty bored on the sideline. That's the way I like it, but he's done a great job of flipping the field and really being a help helpful part of our team.
Dragons on the road, as I said, at Lake Erie Storm this coming weekend. Let's just talk a little bit now, Coach, about your team on the offensive side of the ball, your offensive line. That's another spot that we could touch on here quickly about, the work and the gel that they've had to make over the start of this football season. How are they coming along?
Yeah, they're coming along well. It's a group that we had everybody back and added a couple guys to it, and we feel really strong about their ability to continue to progress. They're working really hard every single day to do that, and continuing to chip away at defenses that we face and the problems that they present us. So they've done a good job. Their process has been good. Those guys work and play hard, and as we go, the beauty in it is we've got some faces that you're going to see that you've seen in the past, and some guys that have been working really hard to get reps moving forward. So we feel like that group is continuing to add depth and continuing to be ready, ready to play as a unit.
Well, as you're working your way through practice this week, getting ready for the Storm this Saturday, and as you go to the game on Saturday, offensively, give me some of those adjectives. Talk about the work you guys are putting in this week and what the folks can expect on Saturday on the offensive side.
Yeah, our process stays the same. Being a process-oriented team, the result certainly not what we wanted a week ago, but we're going to continue to stay locked in on the things that we know to be important, and that's a big piece of that's unity, playing together. That's been a calling card for our team, and that's not going to change. You're going to see passion. You're going to see a great response from a group that isn't real proud of or didn't really like the way that they played a week ago.
Got a bad taste in their mouth right now.
And they do. And the thing you're going to see is them play with a lot of effort. I can promise you that. So we're excited to get back on the field. Our offense is incredibly motivated in that way. And I said this to the guys: you're the same team that played the week before and the week before that. And it's you can't sit there and look at the past and say, oh, this is who we are or that's who we are. You've got to continue to formulate your identity week in and week out. Who we want to be is great, but are we putting that on film? So we've done exactly what we've wanted to do at times, and then there's been times where we haven't loved it. And last week was a week we didn't love it. So the week before I thought they performed really well and kept up and scored with one of the top offenses in the country. And so it's really important to remember that each week is just a small sample size of the team that we actually are. And when you play well at Wayne State, that is you as well. So we've got to go out this week and really do a good job of staying focused on the task at hand, and that's all we're going to do.
Well, no matter what happens the week before, you just got to find a way to be better next week. Find a way to be better. All right, I'm sure you're going to say the same things about the defensive side, but you got any extra ones you can throw in on that side?
You're going to see them fly around.
Right.
You're going to see them playing with just as much passion, but defense, one of our things that we've been able to do is create chaos, and you're going to see that. You're going to see us tackle really well. You're going to see us communicate really well, and I'm really excited for those guys to have the opportunity. They didn't feel like they played a great game on Saturday, either. Right. So, and I would agree. I say they, it's us. We watched the film, and there's so many opportunities where the game could have gone different, and everybody takes accountability to their part of it. And ultimately, I'm the head coach. My job is to tie it all together and be the most accountable. So as we look at the team moving into this week, we're getting back. We're making sure that we're focused on our culture, on our grind, and we're going to do that. You're going to see that on both sides of the ball. But I can tell you, our defense is hungry. They're hungry to go out and have a great game.
Well, it's coming up this Saturday. It's a 4 o'clock kickoff. You can catch the audio replay of this program right here on TUDragonRadio.com, WTUD, around 3 o'clock. We'll join up at WTTF on the TU Dragon Football Radio Network about 3:30, and as Coach said, we have a kickoff at 4 p.m. up in Paynesville, Ohio. The Dragons at the Lake Erie Storm. The Storm will have the video side. We'll have the radio side for you on the TU Dragon Football Radio Network. Coach, anything else before we let you go? Continue getting your kids ready for Saturday.
No, just looking forward to seeing you all out there on Saturday. Thank you for your support, and we can't wait for the game.
Saturday, 4 o'clock kickoff in Paynesville, Ohio. He's Coach Brett Ekkens. I'm Russ Snyder. Thank you for joining us on Dragon Football Weekly.